Since society doesn't openly tell women don't be mothers, but it builds systems, narratives, and expectations that in subtle ways make motherhood feel like a liability or something that distracts you from the main goal.
Working mom, we feel guilty. And if we're a stay-at-home mom, we feel judged.
Called the motherhood penalty. It is a price women pay for staying in the workforce and growing their families at the same time.
Like what? I was working while I was pregnant with my first. I let them know, like, hey, so you guys are gonna have me back, right? And then I hit them up like a couple of months after I have my first. And they're like, we've replaced you with somebody else.
Many employers still see maternity leave as lost productivity, so many women get the unspoken message to wait until later, secure your career first, prove yourself first, and then you can have kids later on. Feminism rightly fought for women's access to work, to education, to autonomy. That was necessary, but somewhere along the way, motherhood and even domestic work began to be portrayed as regression or something you did when you lack ambition.
Now today, though, there is a new micro movement that is helping to empower women even more at work. For these women, it's not about making a big wave. Instead, it's the little drops that slowly add up to equality.
Let me be clear. I am not against women succeeding. I am not against women working outside the home. That's their choice. But what I am against is a small, elitist group of Northeastern establishment liberals putting down homemakers. Now, the livers love to say that they're dedicated to choice. But if you dare to choose the path of full-time mother, well, there must be something wrong with you. I mean, if you don't feel enslaved, well, you're just dumb and unenlightened. In fact, you're not even a person.
Instead of expanding women's choices, society sort of ranks those choices with motherhood being at the bottom. And the systems don't help. Childcare is expensive. Paid maternity leave is inadequate. In some places, it's non-existent. Most households or homes require two incomes to thrive, especially in this economy. So most mothers can't afford to take unpaid maternity leave, and then flexible work arrangements that would help women to thrive in both roles are rare. So women are expected to mother as if they don't work and work as if they're not mothers. To top it all, delayed motherhood is now marketed as empowerment. Society glorifies freezing eggs as a safety net and intentionally pushing childbearing into late 30s and 40s. These options are valid, but most often than not, they are presented without honest conversations about fertility decline, about increased pregnancy risks, about the emotional cost, about the grief that many women go through when this later doesn't come.
The process of egg freezing has helped women stop the biological clock, no doubt about it. But a new study shows many of them wish they could turn back the clock. Almost half the women regretted their decision to freeze their eggs.
So we end up in a situation where mothers are praised, but they are not supported, they are not protected, they don't have systems that would help them thrive. Rather, the systems available exhaust them. Unfortunately, we are seeing the consequences of these actions in parts of the East and increasingly across the West. Countries like Japan, South Korea, China are experiencing drops in birth rates. South Korea currently has one of the least or the lowest fertility rates in the world. In Japan and China, the population is aging faster than the workforce can support. That means that fewer young people are available to take care of the elderly. As it is, governments are struggling to fund pensions and healthcare systems with the shrinking tax base. And what that implies is that there's slower economic growth. So unless the government is willing to heavily rely on immigration to support productivity, a lot will go wrong.
When it comes to living with a shrinking and aging population, the data clearly shows that Japan is ahead of other countries, but also that its path isn't unique.
Working long hours is a way of life in Japan, so much so that some occasionally die from it. Karoshi is a term that means death by overwork. So why are people working so hard, and can it be fixed?
Not just that, there's increased loneliness. People are dying alone and undiscovered for long periods because they have no family members to check upon them or, check in with them. China is trying to reverse the decades of damage from one-child policy, which was made back in 1979 or 1980. They're now encouraging 3 children.
The original one-child policy was imposed in 1980 to reduce China's enormous population. Enforcement came in the form of rewards for those who complied and punishments for those who didn't.
They can force you abortion, they can destroy your house, they can find you, and they can detain your parents, your husband.
By 2015, the policy was abandoned to reinvigorate population growth.
We don't have to wait until these harsh realities set in before we make the necessary changes. Women shouldn't be made to carry impossible choices alone. So this is my call to women, to society, and to leadership. To women, be informed. Don't outsource your reproductive decisions to trends or timelines or institutions that don't consider your body, your health, or even your desires. Make choices from knowledge, not from pressure, and refuse the narrative that motherhood diminishes your intelligence or your ambition. To society, if we truly value women, then we must value caregiving, pregnancy, and the invisible labor that goes into sustaining families and nations. Motherhood shouldn't be treated as a personal affair, it's a societal investment. To governments and institutions, if you want sustainable populations and healthy families, policies must reflect it. Paid maternity leave, affordable childcare, flexible work structures, maternal health care, workplace protections. These are not things that should be privileges. They are health care. Every woman should have a right to them and access as well. Countries that ignore this are already paying the price. The future is built not just in boardrooms or offices. It's built in homes. It's raised in homes and shaped by how well we support women who are doing the work of life itself. We can fix these systems, and we will. We will invest in the health, the growth, the leadership, and the holistic well-being of women so that our families, communities, and societies can flourish.